What up, YouTube world? It's your boy Halucha Lucha, aka Matthew J. Brownlee, and I'm back with another Raw review, Raw talk, week talk, all that good stuff. I missed Raw last week, and I think I missed SmackDown. Uh, SmackDown was, it was fine. Uh, SmackDown, they debuted Jade Cargill debuted. She looked amazing. And then she talked about, she looked great. Oh my god, her presentation was phenomenal. And she came out and she said, "Hey, I'm here to make that money, here to show out while I'm the top." But then you pan over after her that their shit they're done, and then Damage Control comes out, or they're in the back, and it was like, Jake Cargill, we don't care about them. She gotta stay out of our business, and we're gonna handle. I think she had to fight Bianca Belair. She was like, I'm gonna handle her later. Well, she didn't. She lost, and then they jumped on her, and then Naomi came out, and then Jade Cargill came out, looking great. So they announced that they're going to have a six-person women's tag match. It's going to be Jade Cargill, Naomi, and Bianca Belair versus Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, and my girl Dakota Kai. So that's cool. That's good stuff. And then Roman and Seth had a face to face. Cody came back after the following week where Rock came out unannounced. Nobody knew who was going to be there. He just came out unannounced, whispered something in Cody's ear, and it was he's going to make him bleed. And he didn't believe him, and then he made him bleed. Uh, and he came out mad. He said, Paul Heyman was like, "Hey, my bad. Hey, come on alone to SmackDown. I got you. The Roman will be alone by himself." And then he said, "Hey, if you're here by yourself, I'm here by myself." And they just went back and forth. Then Roman did, you're predictable. And then he got Solo and Jimmy, obviously. They came out. And then Seth and uh, Jay came out because they was backstage. Were like, "Oh, we got your back. Don't worry about it. Oos. We got you. Oos." So that was a thing. Oh, my favorite thing that happened. Ray got beat up. Well, he lost to Santos the following week because of Dom Mysterio, so they're still doing their thing that's going on back and forth. So come back this week, and it was like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a tag team match. It's gonna be you two, Dom and Santos at WrestleMania versus me and my tag team partner. Everybody was like, "Oh, Carlito, let's go, Carlito!" It was like the newest member of LWO, my boy, Dragon Lee, and they were like, "Dragon, what? All right, I guess, cool. No, we okay, that's whatever. Sure. Santos Escobar was laughing, and then Carlito was like, "Word, okay, cool, I guess." So I think Carlito's gonna cost them. So I think Judgment Day is gonna get that win, or they're gonna get that win. But we'll talk about that another time. So that's what happened on SmackDown. I think the biggest things that happened on SmackDown, which was those. I don't really remember anything else that happened on SmackDown. So got that out the way. Ricochet continues to impress. He had beaten Dom and JD past couple of weeks, and then this time he faced Ivar. A good match. Ivar did a thing where he was about to squish him on the corner, but Ricochet caught him. Hit a follow-away slam, did a 630 for the win. That match was great. That match was really good. So you should go watch that match. And yeah, so we'll talk about what's happening on night one, how the stories are going like that. So we have night one, Rock and Roman versus Cody and Seth, Rhea versus Becky, Jay versus Jimmy, Jade, Bianca, and Naomi versus Damage Control, the six-pack ladder match, um, Gunther versus Sami Zayn, and Ray and Lee versus Dominic and Escobar. And then night two, obviously Roman Cody main events, Io Sky versus Bailey, Seth versus Drew, Logan Paul, KO versus Randy for the U.S. title, AJ Styles versus LA Knight. Yeah. And the Pride versus the Final Testament, which they announced that was also going to be on that show. Are these all SmackDown? Oh, I guess so. Besides Seth and Drew, everything else on here is SmackDown. Brody and Reigns and this is both the same thing. Io Bailey SmackDown, Logan KO Randy SmackDown, LA Knight AJ SmackDown, Pride Final Testament SmackDown. On Raw, Rhea, Becky Raw, Jimmy J's both. Uh, Damage Control and all that, they're all SmackDown. Six tag ladder matches both. Sammy versus Gunther's Raw, and then Lee. And there's a lot of SmackDown stuff that's going on with the brands. So that's good. Good for them. So, where do we want to start? I guess we'll save the big stuff, obviously, the Roman, all that stuff. We'll save that all for last. Um, I guess we'll just get into the least Raw thing that's going on Raw, which is the tag team match, unfortunately. Um, I love tag team wrestling. It's tag team wrestling and women's wrestling for me, is which I really, really enjoy. Um, and they're like they want people to go on the show, which is good. I love when that happens. So of course, Judgment Day are the tag team champions, and throughout the month or so, at least a month, they've been doing Raw and SmackDown's been doing these tag team matches to contend to see who's going to be in that six pack challenge. Uh, R Truth and them is I think they beat In the Share. New Day beat Alpha Academy and DIY. They beat my boys. My boys. The Creeds. They beat them, so they're all in the match. And then SmackDown did some. They did like a weird tournament thing where in the end it was ATL Down Under, which is Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. They beat who did they beat? They just beat somebody last week. Oh, they beat the Street Profits because Street Profits beat somebody, and then they beat the Street Profits because of the Final Testament. They did distracted them, so that's why they're having their match, the six-man tag match, which is also going to be a street fight. So that should be really, really good. And then New Quarter Republic, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. They beat who did they? They beat Pretty Deadly. I think they beat them. I think they beat them, so they're gonna be in it. And it was announced that the the match will end when both titles are are down. So they're splitting the titles, which we like those. Um, it'll be interesting to see what happens, especially for Judgment Day as a whole, because on the show they beat I think it was all of Judgment Day versus New Day and DIY. Judgment Day wins, and they were backstage, and Dom Mysterio's he's trying to make a lot of moves. He doesn't really make a lot of the moves. Normally it's Rhea or it's Damian Priest. But close to WrestleMania, Dom has been making all the moves. He's attacking Ray on SmackDown. They're like, "What are you doing? Why didn't you come get us? We could help you." And I kind of understand Dom because he's just like, "You guys are doing like you guys are busy. You guys, got titles to defend. You got a battle royal. I'm just trying to, I'm just trying to do me." So I kind of understand where he's coming from. But normally he talks to them, so they probably like, "Hey, come on, talk to us. We can help you out." So Legato, Legato was on Raw with them, and they were like, "Oh, we're not a fan of this," and which made it even worse for them. They said they're not a fan of this. Then Andrade comes in, and Don was like, "Hey, you guys take care." Like, "Hey, just in case JD, this guy right here, just in case he don't take care of uh of Ricochet, because Ricochet just beat Ivar, so they was tired of him. Like, well, if they don't beat Ricochet, we got you. You take care of that problem for us. Hey, maybe we could join Judgment Day." And then Andre was like, "Okay, I respect this." So he kind of gave him the handshake. Everybody again was like, ah, and then It's wild. It's kind of crazy. I kind of like the little story that they're doing. I hope that I hope and pray that they don't break up Judgment Day because they're so good together. Um, it'll be interesting what they do with Andrade because I don't really see Andrade joining Judgment Day only because Judgment Day, they're not, they're whatever they are. But like if they turn babyface, because they could be great babyface because Rhea's phenomenal babyface because people is already cheering her. I mean, Finn can be babyface. People love Finn. People love Damian Priest. They're a little lukewarm on JD, and of course they booed Dom out of the building. But I think if they keep doing what they're doing with the little comedy, silly stuff that they have with JD and Dom, I think they can. And I think they can get them. I think if they were like the tag team of that, like the NXT division, before they come up and be like a big tag team, I think they could go down to NXT, be like do stuff in the tag team division. I think Damian Priest would be cool being a world champion, not for long, but be world champion. Um, they could probably do something with Finn for being like to be in that IC title picture. Him or Andrade, if he decided if they decide he'd join, or something like I don't want neither one of them to go back to NXT because they don't really need NXT. Like Finn definitely doesn't need NXT because he literally just was down there being what a 3-time or 2-time NXT champion. Andrade was already an NXT champion, so he doesn't really need to go back down there. And the other thing is he's obviously close friends with Zelina Vega, and obviously Legado and them is not button heads. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. So that's the whole thing. So since we're talking about Judgment Day, let's talk about Rhea Ripley. She's gonna win. That's the end of the story. She's just gonna win. Um, this has been since before before the Rumble. Um, Becky Lynch has been saying, when she won the NXT Women's Championships, she said she was the fighting champion. She's fighting people on Raw, on SmackDown, on NXT because Rhea's too busy handling two other things and she's not defending her title. So I'm going to be the one to step up to defend the title. And then she loses to Lyra, obviously. And then she goes back and her whole thing was, well, at least I'm defending the title. At least I'm being the fighting champion. You're out here worried about this, that, the other. You're worrying about Judgment Day. You're worrying about Dom Mysterio. You're worrying about the tag titles. You're worrying about who's going to be in the group. You're worried about Drew McIntyre. You're worried about every single person but keeping that women's title. But Rhea's proved that she can do whatever she wants because she's beating like 6 people at the same time. She just beat Nia Jax. I don't remember she had a match at. Did she have a match at the Rumble? I don't think she did. No, she didn't have a match at the Rumble. But who won the Rumble? Oh, Bayley won the Rumble, so she fixed that. So now Becky, she had to scratch a claw her way, but she's kind of doing a little bit what Seth Rollins has been doing. Just taking all these fights because that's what she knows how to do. She's trying to get herself sharp, but she's getting herself in the feuds with Nia Jax. She's getting herself in the feuds with Liv Morgan. Every week she's getting beat up, and then Rhea's fresh as a daisy since Australia, and she's like, "Yeah, come WrestleMania, I'm going to destroy you." So it don't even matter. So that's how that whole thing has been going down, and Rhea is going to retain. I fully believe Rhea is going to retain her title at WrestleMania. It's another notch under her belt. When is she going to lose it? I don't know. Maybe you might keep that title on Rhea for like another year. To be honest, you would have to build up somebody like Bianca or Jade or somebody. Because even if Charlotte comes back and she's on Raw, I don't think Rhea or Charlotte. This isn't old WWE. This isn't Vince McMahon WWE where you just come out of nowhere like an RKO and you just Charlotte Flair. Oh, give her the title. But they're not gonna do that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens after Mania. I'm assuming they're going to go to Liv Morgan because Liv Morgan still hates her. She still wants to do her revenge tour, which she's going to lose also at Backlash, and they're going to get that feud out the way. And then they announced that June 15th, which I guess will be the next one after the Backlash one, They're gonna be in. They're doing a Clash at the Castle, and they're gonna be in Australia. No, not Australia. I'm lying to you. Scotland. So that will also be interesting. I would assume that's where Drew's gonna win. Oh, that's not where Drew's gonna win the title, but or maybe I won't. Hey, maybe that is where Drew will win the title. To be honest, hear me out, guys. Hear me. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about it later. We'll talk about it. But in my mind, if Clash at the Castle is in June, Damian Priest they lose the tag team titles. To the split thing. Maybe R-Truth and Miz win the Raw titles, and then New Catch Republic win the SmackDown titles. Yeah, you change the belt up. You got the WWE Championship. You got the WWE Tag titles, and you got the WWE World Tag titles. You split them over like that. Damian Priest, Damian Priest, Damian Priest cashes in night 2 on Seth and Drew. Maybe something happens. Maybe Seth wins, and then he goes crazy. He starts beating him down even more. Then Damian Priest cashes in. He's world champion, and then maybe they do a triple threat at Backlash. Damian Priest retains, and then at Clash of the Castle in June, you do Drew versus Damian Priest. Drew wins there in June. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It makes sense. So that's the thing that's happening with all that. Next up, yeah. So Rhea's winning that. I don't know who's gonna win the tag team titles. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it could be Judgment Day. It could be that Judgment Day retains on the Raw side and New Catch Republic or whoever wins on the SmackDown side. And then Damian Priest still cashes in the next night. And then he was like, hey, I got all these titles. I don't know how to juggle them. Hey, here's the tag team title. We're going to do, maybe they'll do the New Day rule. Maybe they'll do that. Maybe they'll have Priest as world champion and they'll use Dom, JD, and Finn to freebird the tag titles. But like, hey, I'll give these to them. They'll freebird the tag titles, and then they'll do that. Maybe they'll do that. Who knows? We'll see what happens with that. It'll be interesting. But so that's that. Next up, what else is going on the Raw side? Oh, nothing really. It's just that. Oh, the IC title. I'm bugging. Gunther versus Sami Zayn. Been fantastic. Um, a lot of a lot of people down Sami Zayn think that he shouldn't win or that he shouldn't have won. It should have been Chad Gable. I still say in my mind it should have been Sami Zayn because Sami Zayn is the one that's been doing this underdog story. While Chad Gable, he was with Alpha Academy losing. It just was. It is what it is. That's what's been happening. Um, and the whole thing was Gunther's not taking Sami Zayn serious because he plays mind games. He's already in his head. He doubts, like he has himself down in himself. It's like everybody loves you, you're great, but you're not on my level. Look the way you're dressed. Look the way I dressed, and that's the stuff that Chad Gable was trying to tell Sami Zayn. He was like, he's already in your head. You can't beat him, and so Sami Zayn last week has a match with Brunson Reed, and little distraction. All Gunther does come out, distract Sami Zayn. Brunson Reed wins 1, 2, 3. And then Gunther was like, he starts laughing and leaves. He goes to Chad Gable. He was like, "Bro, what am I doing wrong?" He's like, "I told you that was it. You're taking your eye off the ball. You let him get in your head. One small distraction, you out of here. He got you." So this week they're doing a training montage, which was really good. I'm not going to do it any justice by talking about it, but you got to just watch it. And it's Sami Zayn, going through the ringer through the Alpha Academy, the regiment, not the stuff that they was doing with Otis and Tozawa. Nah, they're doing some real training, and Sami was getting tired, and he was like, "All right, we're good." And then Chad Cable comes behind him, chokes him out, and then Sami starts tapping. He was like, "Bro, what are you doing? Like, what the heck is all that?" He was like, "You think Gunther cares if you're tired? You're gonna do that. You're gonna put your foot off the gas, and it's over for you." And it's like I know you could be this guy. I know you could be Sami Zayn. I know you could be the guy that I know I want you to be, but You got to prove it. You got to get your head out your ass, and you got to do this." They was like, "All right, you right." And then they did the second version of it, and he did better the second time. So then he has a match with Bronson Reed again in a rematch. Gunther again comes out. He sees it. This time he dragged Chad Gable because Chad Gable was watching Sami Zayn. He was like, "All right, there you go. Now you're doing good." And then again, Sami Zayn was about to win. Chad Gable comes out. Well, Gunther drags Chad Gable out, and that was the end of it. And then Gunther demolished Sami Zayn, kicked him, powerbombed him, but Sami Zayn wouldn't give up. He wouldn't give up, and then he finally hit him in the face with the title powerbomb, and then that was the end. That was it. Solid feud, but Gunther's still retaining because I don't think it was long enough for the feud. I think Chad Gable turns on Sami Zayn because in his mind he's the one that needs to take the title from Gunther, the Ring Yellow Row. So maybe they might do a triple threat at uh in France, which I still think that I still think what's-my-face will win. I still think Gunther wins that if that's a thing. Unless they do, yeah, that's the only thing I can think of them doing. He retains. He does a triple threat against Sammy and Chad Gable, and then Gunther still wins. And then maybe they do Chad Gable versus Sami Zayn for a number one contenders match at Clash, and then at Clash at the Castle. Maybe that's where they do um, Gable versus Gunther. Maybe Gable wins there. I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. But Gunther's definitely retaining at the WrestleMania, the Ring General. And still. So that's all good stuff. And then we can talk about this whole. It's a whole lot. I'm thinking if I just want to talk about this now or do I just want to talk about it all on SmackDown. But it's a lot. It's Roman, Rock, Seth, Drew, Cody. They're all Jimmy. They're all connected. They're all pretty much connected. You know what? So I'm not gonna bother with that. I'm gonna just talk about the rest of the card because I think I pretty much talked about it. I talked about the Ray Dom stuff because that was with the Judgment Day stuff. Talked about Gunther Sammy. Talked about the tag match. Talked about the Jade Bianca Naomi. All that good stuff. Talked about Rhea Becky. I I talked about the Pride Final Testament. I talked about that. So I guess the only couple other things I guess to talk about besides the big stuff, the Pride versus the Final Testament. I already talked about that. They've been going on for a long time. Oh, that's what it was. The Prophets beat the Final Testament in the match, and then they beat the AOP, and the AOP cost them their match against Down Under. That's what happened. That's what it was. So now they're doing a street fight 6-man tag match for the title, or for nothing, just to be at WrestleMania. Um, Logan, KO, and Randy. Logan and KO has been doing this stuff since by Royal Rumble. Kevin Owens lost to DQ because of the brass knuckles. And then it was the world title match in the Elimination Chamber. Randy Orton beat Kevin Logan Paul in that, and that had Logan Paul hit the brass knucks on Randy Orton, which got Drew the win for him to face Seth Rollins at the WrestleMania. So then all three of them has just been doing stuff. Randy Orton's been finding ways to RKO, different ways to RKO Austin Theory, which has been hilarious. Logan Paul's Prime Bottle is going to be all over WrestleMania mat thing. KSI got RKO'd by Randy Orton, so that was good stuff. Um, Logan Paul just cost Randy and Kevin Owens the tag team match against Elton Prince and Kip Wilson, which was funny from last week where Kevin Owens was talking to Nick Aldis. Pretty Deadly comments like, "Bro, nobody likes you. Nobody wants to be a tag team partner." It's like, people like me. A lot of people like me. Hey, you want to be my tag team partner? And he pan over and it's Randy Orton. And Kid Wilson goes, "Ah!" He got scared. He was like, "Oh, I like that little jacket thing. That's cool. My dad, old man, used to get one of those." And it's oh cool, you like that? It's like sure, I'll be a tag team partner. And they were like, oh man, he's like, I'm sorry, I really like the jacket thing though, which was hilarious. But then of course, Logan Paul he comes out, pops Kevin Owens to get Kip Wilson that win. And then Randy was like, "Bro, what happened? How you just lose to these people? Like, what is going on right now? I should beat you up." And then they looked at the replay. They saw that Logan Paul came in, popped him with the brass knuckles. He's like, "Oh, you good? It's not your fault." So then the crowd, so he's with the crowd now. The crowd's like, "Hey, where's he at? He's still under there." He pulls open the apron, and then Logan Paul's just kind of looking at him. He's like, "Oh no." And then they chase him, and then they start chasing after him, throwing stuff at him. And then Logan Paul beats up somebody and takes their car and drives away. So that's hilarious. That match is going to be really good. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Of course, we talk about Damage Control, Jade, Bianca, and Naomi. Io Sky versus Bailey. Bailey wins the Royal Rumble. They've been trash talking Bailey since Kyrie Sane got back. She returned, and then Bailey was like, "Oh, hey, Kyrie, you're back. Oh, good to see you." And then Oscar joins them, just like, "Oh, yeah, we all love each other. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool, cool, cool." And then Io was like, "Nah, we're gonna beat her up." And then Bailey was like, "Nah, I know some Japanese. You gotta try to play me. Like, I thought it was supposed to be cool. Like, I had your back." And then they jumped her, and nobody helped Bailey. And then Naomi comes back, and she helps Bailey, and then Bianca's like, "Why are you helping her? She's no good. I'm telling you, bad news. She's been jumping me. She's been attacking me. Can't trust her." And then Naomi's like, "Look, I understand what happened, but if I was here, I would have had your back. I know you do, but me and Bay, we go way back, and people turning on you. I know what it's like. I gotta be there for So I hope you're there for me." It's like, of course, I'm always there for you. And then it was Naomi versus Io last week, which was really good. Of course, Damage Control, they come out, make a distraction. Io wins with the moonsault. And then Bianca comes out, and then they're trying to chant Bailey. Bailey doesn't come out because Io Sky was whooping on Bailey on her entrance before she came out, which was hilarious. And the week before, Naomi came out to help Bailey, but Bianca didn't come out because Bianca didn't mess with Bailey. So that was the whole thing. So it'll be interesting to see what they do this Friday to see if like Bailey like they try to jump them because there'll be four of them and they finally get Bailey to come save them and then Bailey and Bianca are finally like, all right, we're cool. That will be my guess that would happen because they'll try to do something. It'll be the numbers game. They'll all jump and they'll be like Bailey, Bailey, and then she'll come out. Speaking of Bailey, she's been on X Twitter X doing some cool vignettes with her training and stuff against Io Sky. So that's all good stuff. And then my final thing that I'm going to talk about on this, yeah, LA Knight versus AJ Styles. The only reason why I really want to talk about this is mostly because AJ is mostly for the police thing that happened. So this all started from earlier the year where they were doing some bloodline stuff. AJ Styles comes back, and then I think LA Knight kind of like bum rushed, like he shoulder checked AJ Styles, and that kind of got AJ Styles going crazy. AJ Styles had a number one contenders match against Drew McIntyre on SmackDown. AJ was about to win, and then LA Knight cost AJ Styles his match. So LA Knight had a match. It was like, oh well, AJ Styles is going to cost LA Knight his match. Didn't happen. He beat Ivar on Raw, and then they go to Australia. AJ Styles is nowhere to be seen, and he just attacks LA Knight and costs him the match, which is hilarious. Goes all the way cross country to cost him his match. Hilarious. And then they're doing AJ Styles is doing like this uh, interview like at his home gym and stuff, and then it was like, what is that noise? He goes, looks outside, it's LA Knight in a car, beating up AJ Styles in his house, taking him out, throwing him away, throwing him out here, and then the police come, and then they have full surveillance stuff of the police, Then they're arresting him. They almost arrested AJ. He was like, arrest this bum, don't arrest me. This is my house. He was like, all right, relax. Because when he had him handcuffed, AJ Styles was trying to attack him still. And then LA Knight was like, yeah, dummy. And like, I'm going to beat you up. Yeah, you thought it? Yeah, on site. Always on site. He was like, oh, police, I know you're trying to do your job. Oh, I hope they pay you well because I might just be back. Yeah. Good stuff. And then AJ Styles was telling Nick Aldis, control your mans or I ain't coming. He was like, I got you. So the whole night, LA Knight was dressed in security outfit. He just thought, oh, I know he said he's not going to be here, but I know he's here. So where is he? Come out. Come on. He was trying to do all these things. Like, I know you're not him. And then he ended up being a security guy, which was funny because some years ago he was security for, I think, I wanted to say Samoa Joe, but it might have been Triple A. He was security for somebody else, and he was in like the security stuff, which was hilarious. So that's going to be fun. Um, if I had a winner, honestly, if I had a winner, I might say AJ Styles. AJ Styles has had a really good career, but he hasn't had any good wrestle. He hasn't had really any good WrestleMania. When your best WrestleMania is probably against Shane McMahon, because that AJ Shinsuke that match should have been good, but it wasn't. It was okay. The match with Jericho should have been good. It wasn't. It was okay. The tag team match, that was all right too. It was okay. The match with Shane McMahon shouldn't have been good, but it was really good. So we'll see what happens. I think AJ might win. I don't know. That'd be one of the few matches that I'm not sure who would win. Like that match, like Bailey Io Sky, I'm not really sure who will win that. The Pride versus Final Testament, I think the Pride will win that. Big babyface stuff. Uh, Roman Cody, shoot, I don't even know who's gonna win that match. Roman Cody, it probably should be Cody, but we thought it should be Cody last year, and that didn't happen. It will depend on what happens with Rock and Roman versus Cody and Seth. I think that'll be the big thing to determine what's going to happen the next night. I think Rock and Roman might win. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Rhea's going to win. Jimmy and Jay, again, is also a toss up. I assume that Jay would win, but probably Jimmy would need it more. But it's main event Jey Uso. You build Jay up all this time. He probably should win. But uh, Jimmy winning will probably, help him out a little more than to help Jay out, especially if like Solo gets involved and stuff like that. Jay, Bianca, and Naomi, they're winning. Definitely winning. Six pack challenge again. It's a toss up. It could be. It could be any team. Honestly, it could be any of them. DIY could win because they got a lot of momentum. New Day could win because they're freaking New Day. Um, R-Truth and Miz can win because Truth is super over. Judgment Day can win. Newcastle Republic, they've been doing good, so they can win. Down Under, they can always. So anybody can win that tag match. So that's up in the air. Luther's winning, and then I think Dominic and Santos Escobar. I think they're going to win. So that was that. Um, any other thing from Raw, like big thing from Raw, I'm going to like talk about it on like because like a lot of the big things that was on Raw was like the Bloodline stuff, and I'm going to talk about the Bloodline on a separate thing by itself. So I might actually just talk about that on. Well, when do I got off work? I get off work. Well, Thursday I'm off at 11:30, so Thursday I might drop a video. And we'll talk about the whole bloodline saga, everything that's going on with that stuff. Um, Nothing else really happened. Brunson Reed got 2 wins over Sami Zayn. Technically, he got 1 win and kind of a win. So, if anything, if Sami Zayn does happen to beat him, Brunson Reed could get first in line. Um, there was a thing with Maxine Dupree and Navial. They beat Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. Candice was telling Indy, "Hey, Indy, tag me in. Do it the." Indy didn't want to listen, and then she got beat by Maxine Dupree. And then Candice was like, I told you, and now you lost to Maxine Dupree. And I told you, see, you're trash." So I think Indy's gonna finally hop on that bandwagon and turn evil, which will be great because she's great. That's really it. Asuka, Kyrie, and Dakota, they beat Tegan Nox, Shayna Baszler, and Zoe Stark. That match was nothing. It was just to remind them that they're going to have the match at WrestleMania, which they're still going to lose, so it doesn't even matter. Uh, Seth Rollins and Solo Sikoa, they had. Oh, we're going to talk about that later. We're going to talk about that next time. So, yeah, so that was a whole thing. We're going to talk about that all later. What did you guys think of Raw? If you liked it, what do you guys think of WrestleMania? How do you like the card? Who do you think is going to win? Who is your predictions to win WrestleMania? Let me know. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.